Hi everyone, this is a quick video review for assignment 13.1. We're talking about root position 5-1 and 5-7-1 progressions in both C minor and G major in this example. You see that there are asterisks underneath some of these chords, and that's because for the ones that are marked with an asterisk, we're going to use an incomplete chord. For root position progressions between 5-7 and 1, from 5-7 to 1, both chords cannot be both complete. One of them has to be incomplete to avoid parallel fifths. So let's start with the C minor example. We have a 5-7 chord in root position. So that means that the G has to be in the bass. Okay. Next, I'm going to head over to the soprano line, and I'm going to try to put this into closed position. So we'll start with the B natural. Okay. And then the alto would then have the G, and then the tenor we'll have the F, the seventh. Okay. Notice that we use a B natural because we're in C minor, and this is a major 5. This is the major chord, a dominant 7th chord actually. So that means we have to raise the leading tone from B flat to B natural. Next, we have also notice that we are having an incomplete chord. We're missing the 5th, which is the D. So we have 2 G's and no D. Okay. To resolve this chord, let's start with the bass. Okay, so it has to be a C here because this is a root position 1 chord. Next, let's look at our tendency tones. Okay, we have a tendency tone up in the soprano, that's the leading tone. Okay, so that leading tone has to resolve to the tonic, which is a C. We also have a 7th in the tenor, okay, and that F also has to resolve down to an E flat. Okay, so these two tendency tones have to resolve this way. There's no two ways about it. Finally, let's keep the common tone that we have in the alto voice, and that's the G. Okay. And let's take a look at our spacing. Everything looks good. The range looks good. If you take a look at the doubling, the voicing, okay, you have a perfect octave between the bass and the soprano, okay, but that's okay because the top voice is moving by step. Next, there's also a perfect fifth between the bass and the alto, and that's also okay because that's approached by oblique motion. Okay, so that's the C minor example. Let's head over to the G major. Okay, we're going from a complete 5-7 chord to an incomplete 1 chord. Okay, so in the bass here, we have to start with a D. Okay, in the root position 5-7 chord. Next, let's put an F sharp in the soprano. Okay, we'll start with that, and let's put the D in the alto. Oh, I'm sorry. We're in a 5-7 chord, so really that has to be a C. Okay, and then the only note that's left, I think, is the A. So let's put an A down in the tenor. Okay, so there's your complete 5-7 chord: D, A, C, F sharp. Next, let's resolve this to the 1, okay? The bass has to be, we're in G major, so it has to be a G. So let's do that. Root position 1 chord. Next, let's resolve our tendency tones. We have a leading tone in the soprano, okay? So the F sharp needs to resolve up to a G, okay? And then the 7th, okay, the C natural there, has to resolve down to a B. So there are tendency tones that's taken care of, okay? And also this is going to be an incomplete 1 chord, which means we're going to triple the root, okay? So that means that the tenor is going to sing that G. So we have 3 Gs, 1 B, no Ds, okay? So let's take a look at our spacing. Spacing looks good, the range looks good. We have a perfect octave between the bass and the tenor. That's okay. It's coming into that octave in similar motion, but that's okay because the top voice is moving by step, and also it's in an inner voice, so it's definitely not as noticeable. So it's totally fine. Also, you have an octave between the tenor and the soprano, and that's approached via contrary motion, so that's also okay. And finally, you also have a perfect octave between the bass and the soprano, which is also approached by contrary motion, which is totally fine. Okay, so those are two examples of how you would write a 5-7 to 1 root position progression in C minor and G major.